Good morning, everyone. Hi, how are you doing? This is Amanda again. It's Friday, the 2nd of October 2020, and I'm going to do a reading on Donald Trump again. Didn't expect to have to do one quite so soon because I only did one 2 days ago. But the news in overnight that he's tested positive for COVID, as has Melania. Obviously brings in some different energy into the whole situation, and it is about 9:30 I think here in the UK on the Friday, and I wanted to do this video very quickly. I'm aware that some of the people are probably still asleep in the USA, maybe haven't woken up to the news because it only broke here about 6 o'clock in the morning UK time. And I wanted to bring through whatever wants to come through now, because I work with the energy of Archangel Metatron, although for this I'm also being asked to work with the energy of Ashtar, following on from the couple of readings that I've put out in the last 2 days. The reason it's important that you understand that I'm working with Metatron and Ashtar is that they help us to see things from a much higher perspective than we can sometimes see when we're down on the ground reacting to situations or people or events. And I think having a bird's eye view on what's going on and potential timelines that can be coming in is helpful right now. It is definitely a case of different timelines potentially playing out. But this piece of news in the last few hours has just brought some other potential timelines in, and we're going to look at what they may be on this video, although it won't be exhaustive, but we'll do our best. Okay. I'm also going to reference the effect that it had on the British population when Boris Johnson became very ill with COVID-19. You know, I don't know, was it March, April time? Obviously he was admitted to hospital, and it was actually very touch and go for Boris at one point. Those of you that watch my channel regularly know that we did some healing work on that, and I actually believe that we were able to help change a potentiality there, because there was a risk that he would have passed this year, absolutely, but he didn't, and it brought a country together, actually, because it was really extraordinary. It might not be the same now, but I'm talking around springtime when he was very ill in hospital. What happened and was very evident was that people of both political sides came together and were able to wish him well and actually were rooting for him. And you could see it on in all of the media here in the UK. People were commenting and saying, well, look, I don't even like Boris. I don't like what he stands for. I don't like his policies, but I don't wish him any ill, and I'm rooting for you, you know? So there was, it actually brought the country together at a time when it was needing to come together, because it was just when the first wave of COVID was about to hit the UK and there was a lot of fear. So it had a positive side to it in terms of the collective consciousness in this country at that time. It strikes me that America has never been more divided and more separated than it is now. And whatever happens with Donald Trump and Melania, hopefully they're both fine and they recover quickly. But I can already see that there is the potentiality of a collective coming together, which is brought to the surface via potential illness or illness. Okay, and that can only be a good thing. Actually, that can only be a good thing, that people come together from both sides and are able to wish somebody well. So, if we just focus on Donald Trump for one moment as an example, on this channel we are talking all the time about fifth dimensional consciousness. Now, an example of fifth dimensional consciousness is being able to put aside your political differences and to be able to see somebody as a human being when they are unwell and to be able to wish them well. And if you can't do that, it very much is a case of there is some more work to do within yourself, because 5D is about being able to practice and demonstrate love, including to people we already like. That's easy, isn't it? But also to people that we have a problem with. And even Donald Trump's most avid supporters have to acknowledge that he has his detractors and people that don't like him. So this is an opportunity for people to come together and actually just be able to genuinely and authentically wish somebody well, okay? And also wish Melania well, and wish Hope Hicks well. I've actually got a candle here, which I often use when I'm sitting up here in my room to do these readings. I'm sitting up here today because I've got a cleaner downstairs who's making a noise, so I'm not in my normal room. So this candle doesn't often get lit, but it's got 3 wicks. So I thought I'll light this candle for Donald, for Melania and Hope. And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to send good wishes to all 3 of them. But I can't help but notice that the 3 wicks, one of them is sort of buried underneath the wax. And I'm really having to try and dig it out. Actually, part of it's come away. Because to me, these 3 wicks represent the 3 different people. So there's one person of this 3 that is going to have more difficulty with this virus. I'm not even sure if that wick's going to light. Let's hope it does. Come on, let's get this together. Let's just pull that up. Right, let's give it a go. So this first one, I'm not even going to name names in terms of what who stands for who with the wicks. Number 1, person number 1. Person number 2. This person here, number 3, is needing more help. Can you see what I mean? Okay, there's okay. One of the 3 needs more help. It probably just means that maybe they get it more badly, or I'll just see if I can relight it. Hold on a minute. What we're doing in this video is we're creating a healing portal as well, as we did for Boris, because I would do it for anybody. Okay, 3rd person. Okay, we've got the flame alight again. Can you see? But it is struggling a little bit, so definitely needs some prayers for that 3rd person. Okay, let me say then what I want to say and the information that's already coming through this morning. I'm assuming that you've maybe watched my last 2 videos. I did one on the USA election, and I did one yesterday linked into October. And I struggled with the October reading, and I did say at one point I was finding it really difficult to read it because I was trying to make it a video that was about your personal lives, okay? What's going on with your personal lives, and to focus on your own lives and, you know, ourselves, and that's how we make a difference to the collective. But yet there was this collective energy coming into it all the time. And I showed 2 cards. Now, the 2 cards that I showed was Jaguar Spirit in reverse. Now, this was linked into authority. Do you remember? I was talking about authority. And we also looked at the energy of Frog Spirit. Frog is about cleansing, transition and change, linked into this card, authority in reverse. So I said yesterday that it was implying that those that we're looking up to in terms of authority are in obviously a challenged position at this time, but equally it's as though there is a cleansing energy that needs to come in around those in authority. We're in a time of transition and change to bring in something new. Now, I seem to also remember that when I did the USA election video, what came out as the obstacle card for Donald Trump in terms of winning the election, I suppose, but even just like in terms of where he's at this moment in time, the card that came up as the obstacle was the Hanged Man. Now, the Hanged Man is where you are being asked to change perspective, think about something from a different perspective. Literally, you know, it's a suspension of consciousness. It's where you undergo a bit of a sort of a Damascus type moment. Now, again, those of you that watch me regularly know that with Boris Johnson, I personally believe, and I said this months ago, that I feel that his illness brought about a shift in his consciousness. Okay? Now, you might now be looking at me saying, what the hell are you going on about, Amanda? He's still exactly as he was. He's still making decisions. He's not particularly popular at the moment in this country, has to be said, and I will do a reading on Boris soon. But I personally am predicting, and I felt for a long time, that Boris will basically step down from British politics and will go and live a very different type of life. His shift in consciousness has very much been about, I don't know if I even want this anymore. I don't know if I want this fight, you know, this political fight, this dog fight that we're in terms of politics. My heart is no longer in it. I talked about the fact that I just had this vision of him going off and wanting to read poetry and literature and be with his little boy that's just been born and his fiance, you know, and travel the world, I'm hearing now, although that's a post-COVID world. But what I'm not seeing him is as a long-standing member of the establishment in terms of politics. So he's in the death throes of this now, and I very much feel that he will be stepping down at some point soon and may very well use post-viral fatigue as a reason for doing so. So his illness, COVID, brought about this hanged man energy with him where it stopped him in his tracks, and it was like, well, I don't even know if I want this anymore. And so a lot of the decisions he's making now are to do with the fact that his heart isn't really in it. He's not focused. He's not, his heart's just not in it. He doesn't want to be there. So it's almost like he's given up the fight. So back to Trump, okay? Trump had that card, the Hanged Man, being asked by Spirit to change perspective, to look at life in a different way. And he's resisting it. He's resisting it. So less than 48 hours after pulling that card, we now get this confirmation that he's unwell. So this could play out in a number of different ways, but I do know that it's certainly got something to do with that Hanged Man card. And illness, you see, is a great teacher. Illness is a great teacher. Illness can be a pain in the backside, okay, and it can hurt and it can incapacitate us and it can hurt us, etc. Of course, it can be painful, but it also is a teacher. Now, again, you can have the best teacher in the room, but you may just want to disregard what they're saying, okay, and not listen. So it was coming up in a challenge position. But from a higher perspective, what I'm being shown is that here is an opportunity for that moment for him to have I'm actually hearing a reversal of fortune, okay, which again can be interpreted in many different ways. But I feel it's more to do with mindset and how he's viewing life. It may even be that post-illness, assuming he's recovering and he's good, that the side of him that I've always felt was there within him, this actually, believe it or not, this more introverted side, this softer side, basically, you may very well start to see it, okay? You can't see it at the moment because he's all bluster, okay? And he's a loud character. He's a loud character. He'd probably be very happy with that description. He likes being loud, but yet there is this other side to him. And if he could only bring that out, it would help a lot of people who feel very alienated from his energy at the moment. So that's one positive thing that can come of that, of this whole situation. The second positive thing, as I say, is that it can bring a country together, or bring more people together who actually put aside their differences and think, okay, actually, I don't wish any ill upon this person. I actually wish him well. And when you wish somebody well, what you do is you are sending positivity to them. And anybody that's receiving positivity will be influenced by that. You're basically sending somebody light. And when you send somebody light, they are filled with more light. They can become more light. They can demonstrate more light. When you send negativity and attack to somebody, which is you're this, you're that, you're whatever, you basically are filling them up with that energy. Or, you know, putting it onto their shoulders for them to carry. So it's much harder for them to actually be able to show something that is a higher vibration. So however this plays out, guys, if you can try to send prayers and light, it can only have a positive effect. It can only have a positive effect. Okay? Right. I'm going to pull some cards, but I just want to see if there's anything else that wants to come through before I do that. Okay, I'm just using the Lavender Soul Star Spray just to connect me in higher to Metatron. Anything else you want me to say at this point, please, Metatron? Okay, he's wanting me just to bring in an energy of stability and groundedness to this whole collective at the moment, because he's reminding us that to have the Jaguar as the authority energy in our world in a challenged position, it can make people, whether they realize it or not, feel quite insecure and wobbly. Again, I'm assuming you've watched my video from yesterday, the October reading, where I talked about the fact that we have 3D consciousness as a lily pad energy, which is very stagnant. There's a lot going wrong here. There's a lot going wrong here. And then we have this 5D, fifth dimensional lily pad, where a lot of us already are. And we're hoping that more join us, okay? But this stagnant lily pad is all to do with crumbling authority energy, where people just aren't resonating with it anymore. They're just not buying it anymore. And we're being asked to be our own authority. But can you see what's in the middle of these two energies? Old 3D, authority figures, I'm in control, vote for me. This isn't just Trump, this could be anybody in power at the moment. It's the old paradigm of how politics has been done in our world, okay? It's also the old paradigm where you put somebody on a pedestal and you think that they are just this superpower energy that can come in and just solve everything, whether they're left, right, or anything in between. That's old paradigm thinking. The new paradigm thinking is the new earth. It's the fifth dimensional energy where we co-create it. But in the middle, there's this great big gap. There's emptiness here. There's a void. Okay. And that's where people are feeling wobbly, because it's like, I know we need to get here, but how do we jump to that? And then when we have somebody on the world stage, such as Donald Trump, but it could be anybody else in terms of a really significant, powerful figure, it makes people wobble. Okay. It's like, well, even if I don't agree with all of that, or even if I like that, you know, but I know we sort of need to get to something higher, I'm feeling wobbly, because these are the leaders at the moment. These are the leaders. And when they start to show vulnerability, and which illness does, illness shows vulnerability, it makes the collective underneath feel vulnerable. That thing about how do we get from here to here, and we've got this big void, this emptiness, this gap, I'm feeling wobbly, help. Really interesting. This behind me, I showed on my Instagram yesterday, and it's actually a wreath that my sister-in-law made for me as a little present. It's made of acorns, and it's got fresh thyme, moss, pine cones. It's obviously lit up. And in my Instagram video yesterday, I showed it to you all. And I did this. I held it like that, and I started to feel as though I had a steering wheel in my hands. And I was talking about the fact that, okay, we're trying to get from A to B. We've just got to steer the ship in a very peaceful way. But the steering wheel, this morning, this is the way spirit works. This morning, one of you, I don't know whether it was on Facebook or YouTube, you sent me a little message. and you said, have you seen, I can't show you the photograph because I'm recording on my mobile phone, I can't show it to you, you'll have to look it up. Have you seen the photograph of JFK, okay, with the steering wheel? There's a very iconic image of JFK from the 1960s, obviously, black and white. It's a very beautiful photograph, and he's just photographed in front of a big steering wheel. And I thought, oh my God, we have got these, of course we've got these figures from the past who have passed over. John is here, basically trying to steer the ship for us. He probably isn't the only former US president who's doing that. But remember, I'm a British girl, okay? So I don't know about a lot of, I know the names, but I don't know their energies. I don't know their personalities. I do know what JFK stood for. And I do know that many people would agree that he was trying to bring in an era of peace. So here we've got, I feel, JFK coming in, and no, that's not JFK Jr., it's JFK, ancestral energy, okay, American ancestral energy. He's like a grandfather type energy who's coming in and he's trying to help steer the ship through this time when America is going through a lot of division, a lot of separation, but now we've also got the president down. Now, when I say we've got the president down, I just mean that hopefully Trump will just bounce back, you know, and he'll be fine. But the point is, it is a virus that he's got. It's real. Okay, it's not fake, it's real. He is 76, whatever he is. He's in the high risk age bracket. I'm not being rude, but he is also obese, which is a factor when you get this disease. So he needs to take care of himself. He really needs to just take care of himself. So again, the prayers that go in there are really going to help him, because I do feel he will need that. So, you know, he's not going to be feeling great. Whatever his tweets are saying, he's not going to be feeling great. Remember Boris Johnson, less than 24 hours before he was whisked into hospital as an emergency, he was standing outside Downing Street clapping. You know, we were doing the clap for the NHS. He looked a little bit ropey, but, you know, Boris, bless his heart, is, you know, usually his hair's all over the place, a bit like mine. And, you know, he wasn't looking his best maybe, but he was there. And, you know, you would think, oh, there he is. He looks okay. And he had COVID at that point. So this is what I'm saying. The prayers are needed. Okay, the prayers are needed. But I also feel as though we've got JFK who is trying to just keep the country in equilibrium. Okay. Right, let's just pull a couple of cards. Let's pull a couple of cards. I think I'll just pull another one from this deck. This is the John Arthur Mosley deck, the Spirit Cards Oracle. So we had Frog Spirit, Cleansing and Transition and Change linked into Authority. Let's just pull one more card from that deck and see if we have a message here linked into... I'm just going to say Donald Trump. I know there's 3 of them that have got it. Let's just say Donald Trump. That wick has gone out again. Let's just put that back. Donald Trump. What follows on? Frog Spirit, Jaguar Spirit. Archangel Metatron. 3rd card, please. What is the message? Emerge. Breakthrough, rising, and expansion. I have to say, again, it's the divine feminine energy. Again, if you're watching my regular videos, the last 2 in particular, I keep talking about the divine feminine energy in the USA. The divine feminine energy emerging. I was asking about Donald Trump. Bottom of the deck, we've got Butterfly Spirit as well, which is to do with metamorphosis and renewal. Lightness, the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. That could be linked into he has it. He goes through it. He comes out of the other side of it very changed and very transformed. The timeline that I'm on here, because believe you me, there are about 3 or 4 different timelines at the moment. The timeline that I'm talking about right now, and I know this is confusing, guys, but it's just the way it is he comes out changed and transformed for the second term. Okay, so it's a different Donald Trump that you see. I'm actually hearing the word humbled, a little bit humbled. Now, whether he's going to show you that, okay, I don't know, but there is a humbling energy. Illness is a teacher. I just keep hearing illness is a teacher. Illness is a teacher. So we've got those 2 cards there. Okay, I've got the Japanese tarot here, and I'm just going to shuffle these. Sorry, I'm squiggling around because I've now got pins and needles. Oh dear. As I say, I don't normally record up here because it's not very comfortable. Ouch. Okay, Japanese tarot. Anything that you would like to say, please, Metatron, linked into how this impacts. That's a different question. Let's just have 3 cards for Donald Trump, and then I'll ask about the election, because it will impact the election one way or another. It will do. And that's assuming that Biden doesn't come down with it. And I'm only saying that because I've got the card of war, which is the Emperor. That's the Emperor card in this deck. The Emperor would be Trump, okay? I'll talk about Biden in a moment. Hold on a minute. But Biden was in Trump's presence, though, less than 48 hours ago. So there's a threat to Biden as well by having been in the Senate, by being in the very close proximity to somebody who has now been diagnosed. Anyway, this is Donald Trump. We've got war, the energy of war. I know it's a weird card, but in this deck, it's number 4. It's the major arcana. It's the card for the Emperor. So the Emperor is at war with himself. I think he's probably, excuse the language, pissed off that he's come down with it. I think it's thrown his plans out. I don't think he's happy that he's got it. Of course he's not happy that he's got it, but you know, I'm feeling this energy of I'm pissed off that I'm now fighting this as well as everything else. Okay, but there's the energy of Emperor is the war card in this deck. Okay, Donald Trump, please. Coronavirus. The King of Fire. Yeah, that's Trump. That's Trump as well. He always comes out as the King of Wands for me whenever I read upon him. Okay, so he's the King of Fire and he's the Emperor. He's in very bullish mood. I can feel straight away. Very much like, this is not taking me down. This is not going to defeat me. This is not going to thwart my plans, is what I'm feeling from him. It's almost like that's the matador, you know. It's like, yeah, bring it on, you know, bring on coronavirus. Come on then, do your worst. That's his energy at the moment. You know, I'm like at war with this, you know, that's how he's feeling. So he's feeling very strong. And right now, as I'm recording, Friday, the 2nd of October, in terms of this virus. Okay, one more. Donald Trump, coronavirus. The Jester of Gardens. What would that be? That would be the that would be like the understudy. That would be like the Page of Pentacles in a different deck. That to me is Pence. You know, just because he's junior to Donald Trump. So Mike Pence having to take on more basically, having to step up to the plate and juggle the ball. Okay, keep the bandwagon rolling, basically, in terms of the election campaign and everything else. So this is if it's not Pence, it could be what's his son called, Eric. I'm seeing Eric Trump as well, stepping up. I'm feeling it's more Eric than it is Ivanka. So it feels as though you might be seeing more of Eric. Any other message from this deck? Donald Trump, coronavirus. I knew that card was going to come up. It's probably the whole reason why I've selected this deck, although I didn't realise it at the time. Again, if you watch me regularly, and when I use this deck, this card keeps coming up for political readings over and over again. I always interpret this card as playing to, it's like somebody obviously playing to an audience, singing for their supper, playing to the crowd. I don't mean that nastily in terms of the virus. I'm talking about, what am I talking about here? It's how I interpret this card generally, which is that here is somebody on stage in the spotlight playing to a crowd. Okay, I understand what you mean, Metatron, thank you. How Trump, Metatron is saying how Trump deals with this is actually very important, because he is now in the spotlight on the world stage. He has this correct, he has coronavirus, he has the virus. However you feel about the virus is how you feel about the virus. Please understand that there are very many other people around the world who differ from your view. I live somewhere, for example, where I've got a neighbour, for example, who you know, she wipes all of the shopping down before it comes into the house, I guess because she's very frightened about getting the virus. I'm not judging that. You shouldn't judge that either, okay? So there are people out there that are frightened. There are people out there who think it's all just a whole load of hogwash. There are people out there who have been bereaved as a result of it and who have lost people to it. There are people who are worried they're going to get it. There are people who are worried that their mother might get it, or their father might get it, or their grandmother might get it. There are people who are worried about how coronavirus is going to affect their job and their future. I've got two in my house, my girls, you know, my teenagers. There's no jobs. So, you know, how he deals with the experience now of having it is really important, Metatron is saying, because he's being given the spotlight to be able to teach something here, okay, and to demonstrate something. Now, whether he does that or not, again, the teaching's coming in. He's in the spotlight for a reason. The teaching's there, but it's up to him as a human being what he does with that. I'm just showing you the higher perspective the whole time. Can I also say at this outset, because I'm really glad I'm making this video quickly and promptly before a lot of other people do on YouTube. I know, because again, I can see things from a higher perspective. This is not ego. It's because I work with Metatron and Ashtar. He's already showing me a lot of the people that are into a lot of the conspiracy type stuff out there. I'm guaranteeing that probably within 24 hours, if not sooner, they are going to be saying that Donald Trump has been deliberately infected with this to take him down. No, he has not. No, he has not, okay? He has caught this because it's actually part of his soul contract to catch it, okay? What I mean by that is because he's being asked by Spirit to use this illness to have a change of consciousness within him. That's not saying that I'm saying his consciousness is bad or wrong now. I'm not saying that. It's the same if I got it tomorrow. My consciousness is, hopefully it's okay today, but if my soul contract is that I get it, there will also be an opportunity for me to learn something about myself, learn something about other people, and demonstrate through the illness how I'm dealing with it, how I feel about it, you know, and my consciousness would shift. Illness can absolutely be something which helps your consciousness to shift, changes your whole outlook. So don't think just because I'm saying it's an opportunity for him to change his outlook, I'm saying it's wrong. I'm being neutral here. I'm just saying there's an upgrade available. The word is available, okay? It's like having something given to you, and it's like, how are you going to play that set of cards that's been given to you? So no, he picked it up through natural ways is what I'm hearing, okay? Through having been on goodness knows how many aeroplanes. I don't know where he travels to and where he's been over the last couple of weeks, but he's met hundreds of people. People come in and out of the White House the whole time, rallies, whatever he's done, TV studios, you know, that's how he's picked it up, okay? It's not some sort of deep state energy attack on him. So I'm calling that out right now because I'm seeing it in the ethers. It's about to drop down into our spiritual community, and you're going to be hearing that. So Metatron's saying, no, 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 that's not what's happening. Okay. Do I want to pull any other cards? Let's just spray. This is the Ashtar spray. Really? Okay. Okay, again, this is very high up. This is very high up. This is much higher perspective. And this is long term. This is a long term thing. It's not just about Donald Trump. Ashtar is saying that the virus, like all viruses, impact the cellular structure of the body. And a pandemic, by nature, affecting many people at one time, can mutate. Mutate doesn't mean negative. Mutate, I'm hearing mutate, change the cellular structure within the physiology of the human being. And it is mutating and changing the cellular structure of the human being because the human being's cellular structure needs tweaking. And this is to do with dimensional shift as well. So illness coming in as a teacher in our midst, illness coming in as a way to change and tweak cellular structure within the body, which is part of its job. He's saying what you are hearing about is the negative consequences of it. That, for example, I don't know, it weakens lungs, it does whatever it does. But he's saying, come back in a few years' time and you will start to see, or scientists will start to be able to piece together that what was taken away, something else was then gifted to the human race. It's a bit like I'm being shown something has to die off within the human structure. This is the collective human body. It's almost like I'm seeing like the one human body. It's like humanity just has one body here. And where the virus can come in, and yes, it can do damage. And in some people, if it's in their soul contract, it can come in, it can make them ill, it can even make them pass. But it doesn't make them pass. It's their soul contract has already signed up for that. Because death is never an accident. Your soul knows when it's going to die, and your soul knows how it's going to die. It's just you've forgotten it because you're meant to forget it. But I'm seeing the human consciousness as one body. And where this virus is attacking and destroying in some places, as we start to build up a natural immunity to it, the body compensates and grows or evolves in a different way. It's a bit like he's saying to me, if you suddenly have a problem with one of your senses, then the other senses start to become much more heightened. Okay. You are compensated by something that has gone a little bit awry via something else which is much stronger and finely tuned. So I'm wanting to do this. It's literally like I'm being shown like this galactic screwdriver. It's like I'm wanting to do this. It's like going in to the circuitry, and I'm wanting particularly to go up to the head area, the mind, the brain. There's something going on with the circuitry. He's saying that medical science he's showing me a tiny, tiny book of knowledge in terms of what this is actually doing to the body. But he's saying there's a much bigger tome. And again, it will only be apparent. He's actually now saying maybe even within a decade, but it could be sooner, where scientists and people start to understand, right, realizing now that people born, 10 years, okay, people born 10 years forward It's like they seem to have a better capacity to be able to do this or that, or they have a stronger, whatever it is, you know, it's not rib cage, but, you know, something within them is stronger than previous generations. And it's because the human vessel has adapted. He's Ashtar, Metatron sort of chipping in as well, but I want to just keep with the Ashtar. Ashtar is saying the human species has always had the ability to adapt to anything that comes in, and it will adapt to this as well. Okay, it will adapt to this as well. There is nothing that can stop natural evolution. So that's what's going on as well. I don't even know how we got to all that, but that's quite interesting, isn't it? Thank you, Ashtar. Okay, thank you. Right. 40 minutes. Maybe I should leave it there for today. I think we'll see how things go over the next couple of weeks. I think you've got 30 days to the USA election. A lot can happen between then. I was going to pull some cards on Biden's health, wasn't I? Should we just do that? Let's just quickly do that. But I think I'll probably have to come back and revisit this, and we'll just, you know, I think there's going to be more guidance based on, you know, events. I can't even remember, you know, guys, what I've said and what I haven't said on camera. Or if I've said it on camera, where I've said it, whether I've said it on Instagram, whether I've said it on YouTube, whether I've said it on Facebook, or whether I've even just said it to myself. But, you know, nothing surprises me. Nothing surprises me in this. We're in 2020. We're in a roller coaster game. Anything can happen. There are so many different timelines here. There's a timeline whereby, well, Trump has got the virus. He recovers quickly. He wins well. There is another timeline where Biden wins. If Biden wins, I'm still seeing Kamala Harris as being the one who ultimately takes the reins of power, because I do feel there's illness around Joe Biden. There's also a timeline whereby the election is completely delayed. There's also a timeline whereby you've got different candidates that you're going to be voting for that you don't even know who they are yet. So, and there's also Nancy Pelosi, who I keep seeing in my mind's eye as well, as somebody who may be an interim manager, is what Metatron's saying, a manager who just manages interim before it is decided either way. What a blinking, I don't know. I was going to say mess, but that sounds rude. Adventure, is Metatron is saying. Adventure. You need to view it as an adventure. So yeah, nothing surprises me. Right. But I do hope that the states can come together. I do hope that you can use this opportunity to come together. Right, I'm just going to pull a couple of cards for Joe Biden because, yeah, I've got him on my radar. I mean, he's been in close proximity to Trump. He looks more fragile in terms of his physical health. The Three of Tides has just come through. Now, what is Tides in this deck? Just need to check what Tides is. I think it might be Cups. Is that Cups? Tides is Cups. Three of Tides. Ooh. Sometimes I don't like seeing what I see. And I don't know whether I should say it or not. I'm going to have to because I wouldn't have been given the information otherwise. Three of Tides to me. Let's hope this is a long way off. This is a card of reunion. And I'm seeing it's a reunion with the son that died. And I believe he had a first wife that died, didn't he? Okay. It's just a timeline, guys. It's a timeline that is there, that is possible. Literally anything is possible at the moment. It really is. It's almost as though this is being used as an example on the world stage to show that anything is possible. Okay, let's see what else we get. So reunion also can be celebration on a brighter note, okay? It was just that I saw that in my mind's eye with regard to his first wife and his son. So like reunion with them. It could even just be a reunion in spirit. The fact that they're really trying to help him and they're cheering him on and they want to have a celebration with him when he wins. You know, I don't know. But then we've got the 10 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. This is health that I'm reading on here, okay? It's not necessarily, you know, is he going to win on November the 3rd? The 10 of Wands is the 10 of Swords. That's an ending. This is health. It does, you know... there is bad health around him. There is bad health around him, okay? Watch my Biden and Kamala Harris video. I've pretty much said what is in here, okay? Yeah, the world is the completion of a cycle. These are cards for his health. So I would like to send some prayers out to Joe Biden as well. Absolutely. Okay, again, in 5D, if you're watching me and you're just wanting a bit of a gossip, and I'm not talking about my regular subscribers here, it's like, what's she going to say about Trump? And you want to have a slanging match, do it. I mean, you won't get your comments shown, but hopefully the people here who follow me, we are trying to live by 5D. And what we're trying to show here and demonstrate is that we can send healing out to Trump, we can send healing out to Biden, and actually we mean it on both counts, okay? That's what living in 5D means. That is actually called walking the talk, guys. And that might trigger the hell out of some people in terms of, what, you're asking me to send healing to that guy? Or you're asking me to send healing to that guy? Yeah, that's exactly what you're being asked to do. Okay? Peace. Peace comes when we're able to, I'm hearing the words of Christ, love our enemies as ourselves. Whether you view Trump as the enemy, whether you view Biden as the enemy. At the end of the day, they're two men who are older. They're two older men who may need some help in terms of their health. There is one other thing that Metatron wanted me to say in this video, which is that the divine has a way sometimes of intervening when it knows things are going badly off track, okay? So what I'm being shown is a bit like a juggernaut or something that's running out of control, okay? And it's as though the divine steps in and goes, oi, hold on a minute, let's just rein it back in, okay? Come on, let's get some equilibrium here, boys, okay? I'm talking about the debate, guys. I'm talking about the debate. That debate was something else, okay? Now, you might try and justify it that, oh, but he did this, he said that, you know, don't you realise that he was doing this? And then the other side is like, well, don't you realise they were doing that? Slanging match, complete and utter slanging match. And for one of the leading countries in our world to be displaying the energy of that, of that slanging match, whoever started it doesn't matter. I'm a mother, okay? I'm a mother. Any mother or any father watching me knows sometimes you've got to separate the two kids and say, oi, just stop it, okay? Just stop it, okay? So I actually feel as though that whole energy of just like, I'm going to throw a brick at you and then I'm going to throw another brick at you, and we're just going to keep slanging, you know, doing this slanging match back and forth without realising that actually what's happening is you're ricocheting those bricks off left, right and centre. I thought I was throwing it at you, but actually it's gone way over there and it's hit that little old lady on the head. It's gone way over there and it's hit that woman who's already down in the gutter with no money, you know? It's gone over there and it's like, it's chaos. So I'm talking about chaos energy. That chaos energy cannot be allowed to carry on. And I don't think those debates now, I mean, I suspect Trump probably won't even be up to doing them. It could be a good thing. I'm not saying that because it's Trump. I'm just meaning because the debate itself, it wasn't a debate. It wasn't a debate. It was like a great big argument. Okay. And what's John F. Kennedy saying to us? We've got to bring peace in. It's literally, I'm seeing John now. Okay, I'm seeing JFK now. And what he's doing is he's showing me the debate. Okay, so Trump's over here, Biden's here. Whether you think he was doing well or whether you think he was doing well, whether you think it was his fault, whether you think it was their fault, doesn't matter. Okay, it's like the playground. JFK is driving whatever it was he used to drive, whatever his favourite car was. I'm not Chevrolet. I don't know. I don't know anything about American cars. I'm just seeing him. He's got his hands on the steering wheel. He's driving his way through it. He's like, hold on. We're coming through. We're coming through. We're going to try and bring in some sensible discourse and actually a time of reprieve from that. So I hope that you get that time of reprieve. The wise man or woman or team will actually just have a period where they take the gloves off. I'm seeing the gloves need to come off on both sides, okay? And that can happen, guys. It absolutely can happen. It happened here in the UK when Boris was ill. There were things that were happening, obviously, in the country, but was it Jeremy Corbyn who was opposition leader then, or was it Keir Starmer? I think there was a transition between our leader of the opposition, Jeremy Corbyn, to Keir Starmer. But definitely the gloves were off. You know, that's the wrong expression. The gloves weren't on, okay? He stepped back. He didn't attack Boris when he was down, okay? You don't do that either. And obviously Boris wasn't attacking anybody because he was ill. So there was this period of like silence and grace that came in, and then this coming together of the nation where people just thought, actually, at the end of the day, whether you're left, whether you're right, he's a human being. And certainly in terms of Boris Johnson, people suddenly remembered he's actually a father, you know, he's a husband, he was a fiance actually at that time, he's somebody's son. You know, the Johnson family in this country are quite well known. They're quite infamous. You know, he's got a father who's very larger than life. The Trump family are quite larger than life. You know, Donald Trump has got a family behind him. He's a father, he's a husband, he's somebody's son. You know, I know they're not alive anymore, but he's somebody's son. It sort of puts things in perspective. Same with Joe Biden. He's somebody's son, he's somebody's husband, he's somebody's father. Let's get it back to a place of respect. That's the highest perspective I can give you today, guys, on it all. So shall we just end with a little prayer? Let's end with a little prayer. So let's ask Archangel Metatron to come in, please, and to help bring peace to the country of America. To send healing light to its leaders, to send healing light to its constitution, to send healing light to its people, that they may start to realise that they all are each other's brothers and sisters, and for the sun to shine and peace to shine once more in USA. Sun came out as I said that. Much love, everyone. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to upload this now. Bye-bye for now. Bye. Only peaceful, loving comments will be allowed in this video as well. Otherwise, you undo all the good work. Okay, much love. See you soon. Bye.